Let's talk about picking speed. Today I'll break down the real reasons your picking technique isn't getting faster and give you exercises to fix that tension, misalignment and wasted motion. This isn't about repeating the same old exercises, it's about finally doing the right ones. If it feels like you're stuck no matter how much you practice, you're not alone. Some habits stop speed before it even begins. I've hit them, my colleagues hit them, my students hit them. But once you see them clearly, you can fix them fast. Let's get to it. Now yes, speed isn't everything, but when it's missing at the moment you need it, it holds you back. This lesson might save you months of frustration or even years. The second that my picking hand knew what to do, everything changed. Speed stopped feeling like a fight and started feeling possible. You're not stuck because you're slow, you're stuck because most of the time your picking hand doesn't know what to do. Fix that and speed shows up. The most basic and common problem I usually see is that there's a misconception about how the hand should be placed, or even worse, how its position looks from the outside, as if how it looks from outside would change the way the hand performs. I hear this all the time: the hand should be like this or like that, the remaining fingers that don't hold the pick should be like this or that. Just to name a few examples, check out Paul Gilbert's hand, the master of speed picking. Check Mari Friedman's, Steve Vai, even Django Reinhardt. There's no right or wrong when it comes to hand placement. Just make sure it's a relaxed position and that it allows you to mute the strings when you need to. Now that that's out of the way, let me help you find the right way for you. Hold the pick with your thumb and index finger. The pick has to move freely. Just hold it with enough pressure that it doesn't fall out of your fingers. Then the extra fingers, if you feel like having them close, then have them close. If you feel like letting them loose, do it. If you feel like placing your hand one way or the other, do it. The secret here is to try different positions and see what works for you. And also, there's not only one position. You may switch positions, but for now, let's keep it basic. Once you find a basic comfortable position, do this exercise. Now try it with your fingers loose. Now try it with a different hand position. See, there are many ways to place your hand. You have to find yours, like Gilbert, Friedman or Vai did. All of this, your hand shape, finger placement, how you grip the pick, it's not about finding the perfect position. It's about building awareness. Because the real problem isn't that your hand is wrong, it's that you haven't learned to adjust it on purpose. Most players stay stuck because they copy what looks right instead of learning what feels right in motion. Speed, control, muting, it all comes from understanding how your mechanics respond under pressure. So here's the shift. Instead of asking what's the correct position, start asking what does this position let me do? That's when your technique stops being a shape and starts becoming a tool. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let's move on. Now you have to find out what type of picker you are. Are you a wrist picker, a forearm picker, a thumb picker? You don't know, that's totally fine. But knowing this is probably one of the most important things because it tells you where your movement is actually coming from. And even though there are plenty of opinions out there, I firmly believe there's no right or wrong, just what works and what doesn't work for you. So to figure this out, let's run through a few exercises and find out what kind of picker you are. First, let's try your wrist. Do this exercise. How does it feel? Are you comfortable? Do you feel like you can speed up consistently? Or does it feel like as soon as you try to go faster, it's about to fall apart? Pay attention to those sensations. Now let's try another exercise playing with the wrist. How about this one? Let's do one more. We'll keep everything alternate pick for the purpose of this video. No economy, no other stuff. Now let's try the forearm. I use the forearm. I'm a forearm speed picker, even if it sounds like something from Seinfeld or something, like Low Tucker or something like that. I'm a forearm speed picker. I use my wrist for other types of playing. But when the fast picking stuff comes in, I lock my hand in this position and I go for it. Is it the best? I don't know and I don't care, and neither should you. Let's see if you're a forearm picker too and try this exercise using your forearm. Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Now let's try the thumb. This one for me is the hardest, but I've seen people play incredibly well using this technique. So run through the exercises at home using the thumb motion and see if they work for you. And please let me know in the comments if you already found out or you are finding it through these exercises, if you are a wrist picker, a forehand picker, a thumb picker, or a low talker. All of these tests matter, but here's the part most players miss. You're not just choosing a picking motion, you are choosing a system your whole technique will depend on. If you don't know where your movement comes from, wrist, forearm or thumb, then every speed exercise you do will pull in a different direction. One phrase works, the other one doesn't, because the foundation keeps shifting. Finding your core motion isn't about preference, it's about giving your hands one language so everything else you build can actually hold together. Now that you know what type of picker you are, the next step is to play fast. Yes, try to play fast. Try to play as fast as you can with your chosen method and see what happens. Play a single note, second string, fret 8, as fast as you can. Forget about how it sounds, forget about everything else, just play fast. Why am I telling you this? Because one of the most overlooked things when learning to play fast is actually playing fast. Most players stop the moment their hand gets tense or they miss a note, so they are always coming back to zero. And they try to play fast stuff they can barely manage at mid-tempo. They start from complicated ideas. You have to start simple. 1 note, then 2 notes, then 3 notes. Let me show you. Let's add another note to the first one. We had this one, let's add another one. And another one. To play fast, you have to understand your fretting hand is just as important, so is your coordination. You have to begin with basic coordination, not a Jason Becker solo. If you can sync up 2 or 3 notes at speed, why would you be able to sing the whole major scale across 6 strings, 3 notes per string? Once you got 3 notes, add another, this time on the string below, like this. Keep doing that fast. Play and stop, play and stop. Teach your hands to communicate, to sync up. Get comfortable with your chosen picking format, whether it's wrist, forearm, whatever. And finally, let's do this. The classic Paul Gilbert picking pattern from the Intense Rock 2 video. You heard about the hours you need to put in to get good? Well, this is where you put the hours, and there's no shortcut. But there's a big difference between doing exercises that won't help because you don't know how to pick, or that are way beyond your current level, and doing them now, knowing what you're doing. Here's what most players miss when trying to build speed. They treat picking speed like it's a technique to develop, when really it's a condition that emerges once your system is aligned. It's not just your source of motion, it's not just your picking hand, and it's not just your coordination. It's the chain reaction between them. If one link in that chain breaks, the whole system falls apart. That's why starting simple matters, because what you're really training is to be playing calm under pressure. Speed doesn't come from just playing fast, it comes from staying calm while playing fast. Something that I hear often, when trying to cross strings, everything falls apart. I get stuck, I miss the notes, it just doesn't work. Stay with me, we're almost there. Now is the time to address 2 extremely important factors. A very common problem, even after creating a good picking technique, is that players tend to dig too much pick into the strings. This causes a lot of friction and you have to move a lot just to get from one string to the next. That wastes time, wastes energy, and the tone and the technique suffers. It makes you fail because you don't need to do that. You just need to use a tiny bit of pick, just enough for the string to move and the note to sound. But that's not just all. I told you there were 2 crucial things. The other one is the pick angle. Although the name coined by Troy Grady, pick slanting, is relatively new, this technique has been around for years. Used by players like Eric Johnson and Yngwie Malmsteen, just to name a few. This technique consists in angling or slanting the pick a few degrees to reduce friction when moving across strings. And if it's done well, it's super effective for cleaning up your string crossings. Like this. All of these, picked head, picked angle, string crossing, feel separate when you're learning it. But they are not, they are part of a single system. How your motion stays clean from start to finish. What you're really building here is an interrupted motion. Every movement has to lead into the next, not crash into it. That's the shift. Speed is what happens when nothing gets in the way. It may happen that now you have found your picking method, your hands are out of sync again. The picking hand is faster and the fraying hand can hold up. After all these improvements in the picking hand, the fraying hand is suffering and it's putting everything at risk. And the problem is that it's pressing the strings too hard. If your hand overpresses the strings, it wastes energy and gets slower. Because pressing hard means the lift of the finger is slower, so it's basically slowing the whole thing down. But there's a cure for this, and this is how you get to know everything you need to know. You have to play using the less amount of strength possible. The less, the better. Just enough for the note to sound. Let's play a phrase, but before you start, think this. I have to play the notes with the least amount of pressure possible. Featherlight. Once you internalize that and start it doing unconsciously, your fraying hand will be back on track with your picking hand. And believe me, you'll be playing fast. And here's the formula. Chosen picking method, forearm in my case, you can be a wrist picker or a thumb picker or a forearm picker. And then playing with a tiny portion of the pick, then the pick angle and playing with the last amount of pressure possible. And now the most important part of the formula, putting the time to practice. Once all the elements of the formula are in there, see, effortless. Don't think of speed as a picking hand challenge. It's not just how fast you can move, it's how little resistance exists between both hands. You can have perfect picking motion, but if your fraying hand is pressing too hard, it becomes a bottleneck. So here's the shift. Speed isn't about force, it's about effort economy. The less tension your hands carry, the more effortlessly they can move together. So think back to where you started at the beginning of this video. Maybe your picking felt tense, your hands weren't in sync, and string crossing broke everything. But now you've identified your core picking motion, clean up your hand position, and learn how to stop wasting energy. You know how to move fast without forcing it, and how both hands need to work as a team. That's real progress. Keep building from here, because now you're not guessing, you're working with a system that actually makes sense. And if you want an exercise that covers most of this stuff, this is the video that you have to watch. I'll see you there.